right, everybody. We've got Ron Zabel here. Zabel.
Dutch name is Zabel, but you say it right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, here, let's pronounce it the right way.
Good
Friend
job.
of mine I've known for many, many years now. I guess going on maybe 3+. And his project, Cryptool, which he's going to tell us all about, so you guys can get in there and dive in deeper and give him some good feedback. So, Ron, let's start real quick with how do you describe Cryptool?
Sure. First of all, as a little background, our background is community VC and a pre-sale investor. And we do notice that, especially 2 years ago in the bull market, it's a lot of headache and costs a lot of time managing all your allocations. And if on the VC side, when you do invest in many portfolios and have a larger community, it does take a lot of time to manage your members, your profit and losses, the distribution raising aspects. We created a tool that combines all the utility you need to manage all these aspects with ease. We always want to have one quick solutions to every problem there is related to pre-sale investments. Of course, that grew into a little more. There's additional modules that capture related aspects to this, an OTC market where you can trade allocations that you have invested in that might not have been already launched and unlocked. So there's different tools that also come into this, and then that together creates the entire platform Cryptool. I can talk about this for days, but that's very short, very quickly.
Yeah. And I probably should add too, Ron has got a VC group called GAP. So I know some of the questions were concerning the team and their right to win in the space and expertise. Ron is actually the owner of a VC group. He actually raises money from syndicated group of people. And so he understands all the pain points of doing that efficiently. And Ron is also a crypto investor in pre-sales. And I've personally been on maybe 100 different projects that Ron's also on and trying to figure out when to claim them and all of that stuff. His credentials are probably impeccable for building a tool exactly like Cryptool, so we can get that out of the way. Let's talk about the market for a second. So the market's pre-sale, right? Either whether it's private sale or IDO. Your audience is, as you just said, it's all the individual investors, but it's also for the VCs, correct? The syndicated VCs. Yes. And you would also maybe target what other segment in there? You're targeting just the friend that might want to do something with some other friends type of thing? You don't have to be a VC, right?
Correct. Now, as a starter, we want to onboard as many, of course, or DeFi users to the platform with the portfolio management tool. Besides that, we do provide raise opportunities for projects, for VCs, or crowdfunding opportunities for groups, etc. Right. So the core business is DeFi investor, but of course, because we have the management tool is basically every crypto user there is. They could manage all aspects through the portfolio on the platform. Yes.
Okay. I know about a couple of competitors, so I'll just throw out the one I know, pre-sale, and how you're differentiating there. What do you bring into the table?
Yes, of course. We did check out did a good analysis on all the competitors out there. And there's even more than we're mentioning. There's a whole list out there that we have also documented. And our main core business is not only raising funds for VCs, unlike pre-sale. We have, of course, the automated management for the user itself. Pre-sale is different that it manages everything for the VC, but it forgets the user and the automation aspect for the user. And we try to cover the whole aspect for the user and VC in this package. Besides that, of course, there's pricing things. I know pre-sale went up in price, and we have a very low, and for a user, it's basis free, and for a VC, depending on the size of their members, it goes up. But pricing wise, there's a big difference between what we offer and what pre-sale does. In addition, of course, all the extra services that we provide that are not included in pre-sale.
Okay, so you've got more features, competitively priced, and you're filling some of their blind spots. Okay, sounds good. All right, we talked a little bit about at least I talked about you on the team. What do you want to tell us about the rest of your team real quick?
The team is most important, I think, and that's something that we noticed a lot in the last 3 years is that our background is largely business management. Myself, I've managed a lot of projects, non-crypto related. I've managed a couple companies, and we're really focused on having a certain revenue, be cash flow positive, and have a healthy business strategy. Myself, and my co-owner Patrick is exactly the same background. So we are very focused on the business aspect of the platform and the company, having a healthy business. So that background really helps us to create a business strategy, an economic strategy that would benefit the platform greatly, which is basically unseen or very missing, I believe, in the crypto environment. They're very smart people out there, very great ideas, but they often miss the business side of projects that they launch. And then in bear market that a lot of projects fail. Besides that, we have technical team locally. I like to have them as close to the house as possible. So they're very close, very experienced in Launchpad design. So it's similar background to what we're building, with based on the specifications of the platform.
Okay, sounds good. How big's the team right now?
There's 5 core people in the management section. It's myself and Patrick as co-owners. There's Jeffrey, who manages the technical sides, everything related to development, graphics, you name it. There is a engineer we have called Bila. He's supportive in all the technical aspects, so he knows all the details from development sides, all the coding, and he basically is our core person that connects management to the technical side. And we have our lead developer, Jesper, who is our most experienced backend developer we have, and he is responsible for the entire technical side with our development team.
All right, so like a solid team. What is the current state of the platform right now? Where are you guys at in terms of development?
There is something news coming up in 2 weeks, so that's interesting to mention. We have the entire design ready. We have the database ready. We have had a lot of people review, of course, everything we're doing before we start building the platform at front end and back end. We finished this phase, so that's great. Now we're going to do the actual development to the development team. In 2 weeks' time, there will be a official launch of the landing page, an ambassador program. That's something maybe we can talk about later. And of course, all the documentation will be publicly available on the website for everybody to read. So that's our start. Then everything is out official. We have been keeping it low, on the low side for a while, but I think once that's out, we're officially go, and we can continue to the next phase, and that's finishing the platform as soon as possible.
Okay, I think you're gonna have a little demo for us here at the end of this call, right?
Yes, there's a couple things I'd like to show. Yes.
Okay. All right, let's jump right in. You came in our program and we gave you the 5 micro views.
Yes.
I'm going to just roll through quickly some of the concerns, and then why don't you just address them all at the end, okay? Because a lot of them are the same. So
yeah, there's a couple of them. Yeah.
Crypto Deity, he was concerned about the portfolio, and I guess I personally, because I understand what your portfolio is about, addressing the pre-sale, you can talk about why that's different than what he was thinking in terms of portfolio management. There's been mutual concerns here about some tokenomics and the vesting and the team allocations. There's been some concerns that he pointed out in the financial projections. Next, we had Geppetto came up. He asked the golden question, why a token, which I'm sure you've got a good answer for there. I've seen it. The pricing tiers, some of the projections. He was concerned about the team, which I think we've addressed already. Lucera, she's somebody I know actually out in the space who does a lot of pre-sale. She actually was pretty complimentary here that she would use this product, just had some tokenomics concerns. Gigi was concerned mainly about the tokenomics and the TGE. And then Adrian also liked the project, but not the tokenomics. So what I got from our guys in the micro review stage, being very quick here, because I want to give you as much time as possible to show us the product, is let's first just talk tokenomics. People were really concerned about that. What would you want to say there what the concerns were? So whatever you want to address.
Yes. One of the main concerns was indeed that the team has a large percentage of tokenomics. And the main reason for this is, and I like to explain it as clear as possible, we as a platform generate revenue. This means that all costs related to team development, marketing, any cost that we physically have to make as a project will be provided to by the platform revenue. So this means that as a team, there's no need to sell tokens to perform any marketing or development requirements that they might need in the future. That being said, is that we basically eliminated most of these tokens from the tokenomics. That means that the total token and volume itself, of course, the distribution of that means that all the remaining token rounds, or you name it, will have a larger percentage in general. So that's one of the reasons that as a team, there's a larger percentage than they're used to. But again, that because of the revenue generated by the platform, there's no need for us to have a allocation for ecosystems, etc., because all aspects will be paid for by platform revenue. And that is a very crucial aspect for people to understand. When they see these tokenomics, they're going to see a lot of difference than they're used to. And that main reason is because this tokenomics is very similar to a traditional stock share of a company versus what you see as traditional or as a typical crypto tokenomics, which makes it morally like that the tokens itself are really shared among investors and owners instead of having different sections provided to for all things I mentioned prior. So it is different, and it is more traditional stock share split because we don't require the tokens to be sold for building the platform. In addition, is that we have, and that's I think a big difference that we usually see in the crypto environment, every token from the team or our partners are released based on certain KPIs, so key performance indicators, meaning they're performance-based releases. If you don't reach a certain number, they won't be released. This means that as a team, but also as a partner, there's a certain goals they need to reach before we release tokens. And this could very simply only benefit the token. The KPIs are not determined yet, but there's something that the team will share reporting in a later phase to be very transparent and clear about it, so they know what to expect when team or partners actually receive their tokens.
That's pretty forward thinking, because I'm seeing that with some other projects, but it's not a lot. And I agree with you. Some kind of performance-based vesting is a lot better than just linear, no matter what's happening. So that's good.
One more important thing to mention, because you did say why we need a token. One thing before I talk about that is one thing to mention is that we also plan to buy back tokens based on a percentage from the revenue generated from the platform. And this is also used to pay for people staking or people or investors, or you name it, partners contributing to the platform as an airdrop, etc. This basically means that we try to generate a zero emission scenario where all tokens are being sold or released. We try to cover with the buying back through platform revenue. Of course, we try to simulate this in our very extensive financial model. Of course, these are estimates, but just keep in mind that's one of our main goals of the token, to keep it healthy and profitable for everybody. Regarding the token and the token utility, yes, there is a very good discussion is why do we need a token? There's two main reasons why we like to tokenize, and the main reason is because as a marketing tool, all the IDO platforms, users and investors are typically a client that would use our platform as well. So if we can brand our name by doing IDO launches on different platforms, that means that all these people that are using this platform are directly a possible client of our platform as well. So it's a marketing aspect to get our brand out, to get our name out, because the people using the platforms that or the management tool that we provide are basically the clients that we would like to attract to the platform. And secondly, we are working with Multiverse X, and what we are trying to do is trying to attract more users to Multiverse X by providing them a better and more discount by buying our token, staking our token, and getting, for example, less fees or getting more advantages in other aspects. It's based on our ambassador program. You get a higher return on your investment by referrals. You get a cheaper transaction fee, deposit fee, etc. So there's a lot of utility we try to bring to Multiverse X by users, investors, by onboarding as many clients through them as well.
So let me just repeat what you said. So you're going to have a buyback program, and it's interesting because it's almost like, to me, I don't know what you guys want to label it, but it's a buyback and distribute. So it'll go to air holders. It's going to go to the rewards to try and.
We have a treasury that
would have emissions for you. You're going to try to offset by buying back. initially?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
We try,
And
we have a treasury for this, which we will refill based on certain percentage of the platform revenue.
Okay. And then going into the why, did you cover both reasons? And you just said it was a branding issue, and the other one is just to have some utility on the site in terms of discounts.
Yes, we had an agreement with Multiverse X that we try to get as many users on Multiverse X chain and users. So by providing a larger discount on platform service fees for Multiverse X users, which our token will also be, this will provide additional support for the platform indeed.
And then going back to your question before, or your comment before, being revenue, I completely get it. It's one of the things when I look at tokenomics, I always talk about how when you buy a stock, you're buying a share in the company's equity. Buying a token is completely separate. But you guys plan on living or dying by the revenue you generate, which means you don't have to sell tokens like most crypto projects will out of their treasury to make costs and salaries, et cetera, right?
Correct. Yes.
All right. That's an interesting angle. And just to throw in my 2 cents here, I know you well and work with you in the beginning of this project and your partner. I've never seen 2 project managers or financial forecasters at the level you guys are at. So I'm sure this will be a different animal when it comes out. Your financial projections. There was some concern about your financial projections. I haven't validated this, but one of our analysts had stated there's about 500,000 DeFi users in the space right now. You guys have a pretty aggressive financial projection to get to 100K almost immediately and then grow to double that quickly. Can you put something behind that makes people feel confident that's doable?
Yes. First of all, that number 500,000 that was mentioned, I double checked. I'm at around 5 million. So there's a little difference.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And we have a decent network already based on our VC side, community side, and based on our Launchpad partners. We also are very involved in Launchpads and yourself as well. We have a couple of partners that have a community size of, say, 52 to 200,000 each. And when partnering with these kind of projects and platforms, we do want to make sure that all their users end up coming to our platform. And we try to do this with an ambassador program, where an ambassador program is basically where any person can serve as an ambassador and can onboard users through the referral link or code when signing up. And every person revenue generated through the platform, an ambassador will see between 10 and 50% of the fees generated to them directly as well. We do work together with some larger influencers that serve as an ambassador, as a main ambassador. They get a little higher percentage, but they do have a network between 50,000 and a couple million with the group that we're working with. And again, they're not all DeFi investors, but these could be, as a crypto investor, still be a great platform to use to manage your portfolios and maybe join in the future investment pools, pre-sale pools as well.
Okay. I have to concur with you that I don't know the exact number. 500,000 certainly seemed too low when I heard it. 5 million seems a little more appropriate. And I do know some of the potential partners. I don't know who your partners are per se, but I do know some of the platforms that we both have been involved with have user bases well over 300,000 plus. Yeah, that would be, seems reasonable. You could attract 100 to 200,000 and based off what I've seen in your financial projections. So that's my 2 cents. Okay. The only other thing I think we didn't answer real quick before you can jump in a demo for us of whatever you want is the portfolio. So there's really a raise aspect, which you've covered. It's there two, I guess the 2 pieces we didn't cover that I know about. The portfolio. Now, this isn't your CoinGecko. The problem in this space is that you've got allocations that aren't out yet. So tell us a little bit about why this portfolio is not your, what you think of when you think portfolio manager.
Yeah. First of all, I think there's different categories that would provide portfolio management. So a basic user that just wants to keep track of how many tokens they have, that's easy. Of course, there's other alternatives for this, and not so much for the pre-sales or tokens that aren't out yet. But still, there are alternatives to this. What's missing is the complete package of your entire portfolio. So vested, unvested, staked, you name it. That's all manageable in this platform from beginner to advanced, meaning that you can keep track of all costs you made to get your profit and loss and return on investment very clear. So it goes in a lot of details if needed. And what's most important is, and that's the key factor, is that all your portfolio all events related to your portfolio. You name it, especially most, of course, is vesting schedules. They are also visible through a calendar. And this calendar is synced to your personal email. So you would never miss an event again related to your portfolio, which is one of the key features that I think would make this a big difference to other platforms that we know, is because you can keep track and sync everything to your personal notifications, email, you name it, and make sure that you never miss one of these key events again. And it's just, like I said before, it goes from very basic to advanced, so you can put all the details that you want. We talked to a lot of people with a lot of input, and we made sure that we didn't miss anything in this management tool.
For $3, if you're giving me something that lets me know how many tokens I've vested, what I sold at TGE, what I got left, how much money I've made, where I've got it staked, when I need to claim, so I'm out there and can maximize each distribution, I'm on board. So that sounds great.
Oh, sorry. One more thing, because you said $3, people don't understand that the platform is completely free to use.
Oh, yeah, sorry. $3 is the paid version. Okay.
And there's a paid version that does provide you the calendar, and it provides you a little more than the base package, of course. But for $3, it does upgrade all your limits, and it does give you the complete utility of the entire platform. So let's do a quick spin of the platform, indeed.
So yeah, free gives you all kinds of bells and whistles, but for the cup of a coffee a month, you're getting all the limits.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
So I'm going to use Figma real quick because it does give us a easier way to go through it. I skipped the landing page, so you go straight to the login. Most important to you is that you have a own portfolio or your own profile, which you can manage. It doesn't have to be public. You can turn it off notifications. You have a KYC, which some VCs or groups require for you to join, or future projects that have launch pools require. So you can turn a lot of details on and off. There's wallets you can add. And this is needed for when joining pools or doing transactions on marketplace, which initiate the smart contracts that we have. You can manage them here as well. There's, of course, a platform tier, or that's the free. If you want to upgrade from free to premium, or as a VC owner to manager, you can do that here as well. The ambassador program we talked about. And the ambassador program is where you can see the users that you refer to, and you can see the money generated, and you can keep track of everything here. It's very cool and easy to do. So when you do have want to onboard and join as an ambassador, it's very quickly, and you can enjoy the profits in a later phase. Of course, preferences, and there's a staking pool that we talked about. When you stake, you get certain preferences. You can see some of the preferences and utilities that we talked about earlier as well. And there's broker aspects that we're not going into, but we have a broker tool that allows VCs to sell the complete sats on the platform to the use of a broker. That's very quick. These are the basic. There's groups. As a group, you can manage your group. I'll go here real quick. You can see all the groups you're in. If you're different VCs, you can keep track of them all here. All the public groups are also visible below. It gives you a very quick overview of all the group stats and all the statistics based on the group and you. So when you open the group, this is then the admin view. You can see quick group description, all the pools that are active. You can go to the pool page that are open, closed, history. You can check all the performances that they have. If the group that has this public, you can see the performance of, based on the data that we have of this group. You can see the member, and this is as an admin view, you can manage your members. You can create tiers, you can create roles and select who is responsible for what, who's allowed to do what. So this is very quick, basically just the basic aspect to this. Now we go to portfolio. You have 3 sections. You have all assets where you can manage all your assets with allocations that we talked about, where you can manage allocations, and you can add allocations automatically. So if you don't join through our platform pools, you can add these manually, which is a very simple process. You can just click on different and add in as many details you want. Like I said, there's details you don't have to enter, but you could. You go to the deposits, but there's everything you can do. You can add staked, so keep track of your staked when things are unlocking. If they're unlocked, what your possible revenue is, and that's based on actual values. When the price drops, you can see that your yearly returns investments are lower. And there's different utilities up top that you can turn off, but you can see your summary of your portfolio based on each section. Of course, the allocation section is most important, like I said, and you can If you join through the platform, it will say through what group and what pool you join. For example, if you join through this pool, you can go quickly to the pool, see the status, see how the pool performed, see all the pool details. And as an admin viewer, you can see all the details, who joined, when they deposited, what the fees were, what the revenue was generated through this pool, et cetera, et cetera. It goes in a lot of details, but again, we try to cover as much detail as possible for the specific users. As an investor, you could see all the details. Most important is that when you create a pool, that the database is entered by every user. And the nice part is that if the project is not in there, you can add a new project. I can give you a quick sample. For example, you create a pool and the project is not you could go through these steps and fill in all the information. Once it's in there, it basically means it's available for everybody to use. But of course, if there's issues in the project or that are not up to date, you could always flag it as a user, meaning this is not up to date. And everybody who is invested in this will get a notification saying, hey, somebody flagged the vesting schedule. So everybody, if it's in your portfolio, you get a message, hey, something's wrong with the vesting. You can check it out. And if it's still correct or it's false, you can vote on it. And what happens is that if you agree with the change, it will update your portfolio. If you don't agree with it, it means you're responsible and it will keep your settings. We will review if there's a voting where people vote that there's a discrepancy between votes. As a platform, we will review and make sure that we have the correct data as much as possible in the system. Of course, again, it's still mostly user-based database, and they're still responsible for entering the information as correctly as possible. So that's the portfolio real quick, and I already made the link to Raise. If you have a admin, a VC, you can create a pool. If you are just and you can do that in my pools as well, and you have different stages where you can create a pool. So if you are a VC, you want to create a pool, you can. If they're already in the system, you can easily select them. If they're not in the system, of course, you can add them to the database, which is very quickly. And then you can go through this process of creating a pool. You have templates. If you have certain standard wallets that you want to use, you can create a template and you can upload the same template. It's very quickly. And I think you could start a pool in less than 10 seconds if you wanted to, which is very, very, very quick. And of course, you can publish it and then it will be published. But it would show up in the new pools. It would show up in the list. If it's public, it shows up for everybody. If it's private, it shows up only for your group. And members can easily join pools. There's also a tile view, which people are more familiar with. You can go all the details. You can see all the pools that are active or open. And you can quickly click on them and join them if you wanted to. And if you join them, it automatically comes up into your portfolio. Means that
Nice.
you don't have to add it to manually at all. The manual option is only based on investments that you did off platform, and still have the notifications that you need. Example, there's the calendar. Here you would see all the notifications that you have based on your portfolio. So if there's a buy-in moment or a TG claim, you can see everything. And what maybe forgot to mention, what I mentioned before, is that you can sync everything to your personal email and calendar. So that's very great. Everything you have in here and data will be synced to your personal calendar as well. So we have portfolio Raise. Market is very simple. It's just you can publish listings. It works very similar to the Raise section. You could create a listing and have a listing on or off platform as well. For example, if you want to add a project to it, you just click on the information if it's available in the database, otherwise you add it. And you go through a process which is very similar to the Raise section to add a listing. And if you add a listing that you need a broker, you're doing safe after safe. Of course, you're mandatory if it's off platform to add a broker, which are available through a selection list, or you can request them. The marketplace is really interesting because there is a lot more opportunity here for missed opportunities. There's a lot of detail. I really recommend going through it another time and more, but this is just
it's pretty impressive.
There's a My Cryptool page where you can summarize everything. You can have widgets of each module or section in here, which summarizes everything you want. This is your main page. Everything's fully customizable. We really wanted a lot of details to make it perfect for everybody. And you can do anything you want basically in here. And again, Our support section also is interesting. We have a message system between individuals and groups if you wanted to. You really don't need another platform to manage your groups in here as well. That's really one of our main goals as a VC owner myself. Very quick. I hope it was clear.
Yeah, well, you went over a lot of stuff really quick, but I think the people that know the space, which are a lot of our analysts, will be okay with that. When we sit down to do a public A, we'll polish this up and maybe
Sure.
take a little bit more time on that. Okay, in closing, anything can think of last minute that we didn't address that you want to just get out there in front of the analysts?
I think we covered most aspects and most concerns that they mentioned. I think we covered. If not, I'm sure we were able to do that in a later phase.